Before the video starts, hear me out for a sec. 1, I'm sick, so sorry if my voice sounds like garbage. I also might try to keep this episode a little shorter, because I can't go like 1 full minute of talking without having a violent coughing fit. But I can't miss a week. Never. And second of all, if you're sad about this week's episode of Shonen Jump being shorter, become a channel member today, and you can get access to the long-awaited State of Shonen Jump video. It's available right now if you become a member at any tier. There's only 2 tiers. You can check out my community post or click the join button below this video to get more information on what the tiers offer. Well, check it out if you want. Don't feel pressured. The video will go public later this week for everybody, so no pressure. Just wanted to throw it out there because I just launched it this week. Okay, on to Shonen Jump. Hey. Alright everybody, welcome to Weekly Shonen Jump 2025, issue number 42. On the cover this week we have the brand new series, which I could not pronounce the title of last week because it was a completely Japanese title, but it has been localized to Someone Hertz. Hertz being the audio word. Oh yeah, cute cover. I mean, it's very cute character designs that I'm into. It's a romance series if you hadn't heard already, and I'm excited to check it out. I love romance series, and this has a really nice looking art style, so see how it goes. Other than that, not much to talk about in the magazine this week. It's pretty mellow, pretty normal week. Nothing's off. Ekiden Bros at the bottom of the TOC once again, so you love to see it. Preying on its downfall every day. In other news, I did see the Demon Slayer movie this weekend, the first Infinity Castle movie, and that was a banger. Go see that. If you're watching this video, you're probably seeing it anyways. You're planning on seeing it because I mean, this is a huge movie right now. Everybody's talking about it. So yeah, check it out. It was incredible. I loved it. And like I said in the intro, I'm probably going to try to keep this episode a little shorter because I am like suffering through a cold right now. But power through. Can't miss a week of Jump. All right, let's get into it. Someone Hertz, Chapter 1, On Name Air, Eel Potato. So this was an incredibly cute chapter. I loved this a lot. I wasn't really sure what to make of it from like, you know, the first couple pages or so, first like 10 to 20 pages. I was like, okay, what really is this? But as it started to reveal his hand more and we get further in, we get to the whole, you know, the major hook of it all, I really started to fall in love. I love these character designs. I love how they act. Like, they kind of act like humans, you know? Like, it's very human how they speak, which sounds like a low bar to clear, but really isn't. A lot of manga have, like, really over-exaggerated speaking, like, ways of speaking. But this is very natural, and it sounds like 2 kids who would be into something like this would talk to one another. It's certainly a very unique premise for a story, too. You can tell this is something that's, like, important to the mangaka, like, based on an experience they had or something, or just a hobby of theirs, because I can't say I would have ever thought there would be a manga or a story in general about people listening to a radio show, you know, like, well, where's the story there? But here it is. As of this very moment, I fail to see how this could be a very long series, but things evolve, things change, so we'll see. But I do, a gut feeling, you know, chapter 1, just throwing out a prediction, I feel like this will be a hit. Honestly, I think this will do well, and I think it'll last for a good while at least. I don't think this will be an axe, but this is only chapter 1. Things can change. This could go to shit for all I know. But chapter 1 impressions, super cute. I really enjoyed this chapter, and I'm excited to see more from it, see what it can do. Also, I appreciate the shout out to Sambo Master. I love Sambo Master, so it's cool to see it mentioned in a manga. Ichi the Witch, Chapter 50, Those Who Defy. Pretty much everything I was hoping for. The waiter guy did get away, but what can you do? It kind of had to happen. Love seeing Discaris kick ass, though. So cool. She just aura farms in every scene she's in this chapter, and it's amazing. She's so cool when she gets serious like this. And even when she does get serious, she still lets her, like, you know, casual, like, not exactly playful, but I guess dismissive side come out, and it's just so great. I love her carefree expression at all times. And certainly some interesting developments happening here with the World Hater. We're getting clued in on his motives, being that he doesn't want a future where magics and humans can coexist, which is what is happening at this current moment. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I really liked this chapter. It was just fun to see more Discaris action. And that waiter guy's absolutely a freak. His powers are so weird. I guess it's not his power because we learned that they're borrowed from the World Hater. But yeah, that tongue with like eyes is that'll stick with me for a while, for sure. One Piece chapter 1160, the God Valley Incident. If there were any doubts, here we are. God Valley's happening. We're getting the whole thing. No doubt now. It's happening. We're in it. Things are moving, things are happening. We're seeing things that are expanded upon from the Kuma flashback, now with more context. A big dragon focus, which I did not expect, but I'm happy to see. And again, I am completely detaching myself from my previous mindset of viewing this as the Elbaf flashback, because if I was still viewing it that way, this chapter would be comical. But I gotta move on. Anyways, though, yeah, dragon focus is awesome. I've always desperately wanted to know more about Dragon, and to finally start to pick away at something here is nice, because he's a character that is just shrouded in so much mystery that I've always found it hard to even really care about him, because I just don't know what his deal is. But now we're kind of humanizing him a little bit. We see his early days and how he was a very sympathetic person at one point. Probably still is. He's just kind of cold. Dream fulfillment stuff. We're seeing God Valley happen. Obviously, at this point of the game, it's just kind of devastating because, we start by the Navy properly playing the game, and then we have the pirates show up. And now it's getting into what we more so know it as. Garp showing up at the end, of course. He's got to be there. Things are going to get crazy. Oh, I can't wait to see how this goes. This is one of my most desired flashbacks ever, and the fact that we're finally here is just unbelievable. It's really surreal, honestly, to finally be at this point. Yeah, very great chapter. It's not gonna say this was like chapter of the week material. I mean, it could be if this is a really weak week, I suppose. But this is literally the first chapter, really, of God Valley. Like, we're just now getting started. It's gonna start ramping up. And if this is as good as I'm hoping it to be, One Piece might be on like a killing spree for chapter of the week, honestly. It might just keep getting it back to back. It is off next week, unfortunately, but that was to be expected anyways with One Piece's normal schedule. But we will return strong in 2 weeks. I can't wait. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, as I now know it to be called, chapter 2, Deterrence. Another amazing chapter. I am loving this series so much. It's really just like, I never would have assumed a sequel to JJK would be like this, but it's perfect. This is something I never knew I wanted, but I definitely want it. I love it so much. I am just so hooked and interested in what's going on. I think introducing aliens to JJK sounds insane on paper, but it's actually so cool. Like, it's the best thing they could have possibly done, I think. And I love the two siblings a lot. They're really endearing main characters. Maru seems great too. We didn't get a lot of him at all this chapter, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of him soon. And just the biggest thing that's really hooking me is just the intrigue of the world itself. The world of JJK is so interesting, and it's something we didn't get to hone in on a whole lot in regular JJK. It was more action focused. We didn't get a whole lot of world building. It was more of a background element. Like, we got it, but it wasn't at the forefront. Here, almost feels like the forefront, at least for now. Like, we're getting proper world building. We're learning about the past, things that happen, and it's not like explicitly stated, but you still have to imply some things about these past 60 some years, and that's what I think is really cool. It's not insulting the reader's intelligence. Like, we can gather things from how people are talking, and really that's the only way to do things like this. With a 60-year time jump, you kind of just have to trust the readers a little bit, because you can't just tell us everything. That's a ridiculous thing to ask, especially for a limited series. But yeah, I just love everything about this. The art looks amazing. The character design's great. The story's really hooking me. So far, perfect. Seriously, no notes. I'm just loving it so much. I wish I could yap about it more, but I gotta keep this episode rolling, because my voice does have a time limit for today, I think, before it gives out. So I gotta carry on. Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 49, Yotaka All Alone. Nothing beats a good friends saving another friend in a dour moment. This was a really, really good chapter. I love getting more insight into Yotaka's past, learning that he was this like empty shell who just got down on himself because he figured nobody cared about him. He just thought he was being used as a weapon and nothing more. Nobody really cared about his well-being. And now, you know, looking at the present, seeing that he has friends, he has people that look out for him is so nice. And to see them actually step up and do it is even more nice. I really, really liked this chapter a lot. I think it was drawn super well. The framing of it was fantastic. Felt like a complete arc was had in this chapter, and that's awesome. You love when that happens. Yeah, the series has been killing it lately. I've said it in a title before, but do not sleep on Shinobi Undercover. This is high. This is this high up on the TOC for a reason. They are really, Shueisha is really seeing the value in this series, and that's awesome because I see it now too. I think this is actually something special, and that is definitely not something I would have said a few months ago. It's been on a huge upward slope. Blue Box Chapter 211, The Final Year. This is one that really hurts that I have to keep this episode short because I actually have a lot to say about this chapter, but a lot of it will probably carry to next week too, so I could reiterate the same things. But basically, to try to keep it as short as possible, I really like this chapter. It's last chapter reassured me that we're in capable hands with this series, as I've been kind of, you know, sort of doubting in the recent chapters. But last few have reassured me of Koji Miura being a good writer, as I previously thought. And this is also doing the same thing. I'm still a little unsure about Hina's stuff, but this just feels like we are setting up for a proper final arc. This final year will be probably the end. I guess we are going to go through the whole year, which is surprising to me, but it also makes sense. I just think it'll probably be a little faster paced than previous years. So much to say. My head's racing, honestly. There's so many things I want to talk about, but I'll have time in the future because a lot of these things will be expanded upon later. But I loved it. I guess I'll talk about his birthday a little bit because that is an exclusive thing to this chapter. That was so cute. I love the birthday scavenger hunt and them making her wear all these accessories and stuff. Super cute. Interesting things going on with Haruto at the end as well. And that neighbor, obviously. Those are things I'd like to talk about more, but I should not let myself right now. Amazing chapter, though. I really dug this.
Get this man a gun.
Sakamoto Days, Chapter 229, New Record. Man, this is a really good week of Jump so far. I'm very impressed. So, Heisuke Focus Chapter. I was talking about last week. I just want to see Lou, yada yada, show me Nagumo, but nah. Make room for Heisuke, man. What a goat. I loved this. I for a second I really thought he was dead, but he's chilling, he's fine. Gets an amazing moment saving Lou. The one downside about having Heisuke save Lou is that I do worry that this will make Lou's fight worse because, you know, now her opponent is handicapped, he lost a hand. That's a big deal, and it might make Lou's victory, like inevitable victory here, feel a little lessened. But in Yu Suzuki we trust. I hope that that's not the case. And of course, Kamehate comes in and saves Heisuke. Of course, that was going to happen. This will be so cool to have the two snipers back to back fighting against these guys. Can't wait to see how this shapes up.
Feel the power of my man.
The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 218, Only Good on Paper, 1352. That could be said about this chapter. That could be said about this chapter as a whole. I think something like this is definitely only good on paper. I didn't really care for this at all. This was truly a whatever chapter. It actually feels like nothing happened at all. Yeah, weird one. Like, this doesn't feel like it belongs in this final war arc, but what do I know, I guess. I don't know. I got nothing for this one. This is not a good chapter. No, I just, I did not care for this whatsoever. Kagurabachi Chapter 93, Finishing Touches. Another banger. I just, this fight is so cool. I know that's only like less than half the chapter is these four fighting, but look at this shit. Come on. That's so sick. That's definitely the highlight for me. I do love the stuff after. Oh, I can't say I love it, but I thought it was interesting. We're definitely building up to something that will be cooler to talk about than the setup of it. But yeah, there's just a lot of cool stuff happening in this series right now, and I'm pretty hooked. I really dig it. I'm glad I'm glad Kiri got some more page time, even though she's not involved in the big fight at hand here. I trust she'll still get some moments here before we finish this part of the story here. It is also, it's starting to dawn on me how weird it is to be so detached from Chihiro right now. Like, we haven't seen him in a good minute. Not that that's a bad thing at all. It's dawning on me how, like, yeah, wow, we don't have our MC around right now, and that's kind of a first for this series. Great stuff though, great art. The bonus chapter last week was amazing, but I'm glad to be back to the main story. This is good stuff. Akane-banashi Chapter 174. Don't waste it. I love this color page here with just the text saying "Have a nice day." That's lovely. Thank you for that. This series does such a good job of getting you hyped up for performances. And also just like, I love how everybody in the crowd, everybody around Akane is just like shit talking. There's so much disrespect, and it makes you just feel like, okay, come on, Akane, like you gotta do this. Prove these dumbasses wrong. I'm pumped. We're getting the next chapter. It's gonna start. At least obviously this will be a multi-chapter performance. But yeah, I cannot wait. This is gonna be an amazing performance. I already know. There's so much riding on this. And the outcome could be anything at this point. I still firmly believe she could totally fumble this. I don't think so, but I really do think it is a narrative possibility. See what happens though. Love this chapter. Witch Watch Chapter 217, Romantic Fantasia. I was fully expecting Student Council Saga, but I guess that's over or it's on break. I don't really understand what's going on here. I did not think that was over, but here we are with this. It's fine, I didn't really find it too awfully funny. It's not like my favorite concept that the series has ever done. I find myself saying things like that a lot recently with the series, and I worry that that's going to be like all of this without Nico section of the story, but this wasn't bad. It's just like, mediocre jokes, like premise of making a dating sim isn't the most interesting thing in the world. I don't know. It was okay. Like, I guess like the idea of just like playing through a dating sim that your friend made is funny, but I don't know. A lot of the jokes just didn't really land for me. It was okay. I don't hate it by any means. Just not the best chapter ever. Hima-Ten Chapter 58, Hug Hug Himari. The Hime no no saga continues, and I still am just not a fan of what she brings to the table and what she's doing to this story. I do like that it is changing Himari in interesting ways. Like, she is, she's being more proactive in her approach with trying to get Yaemori to be into her and all that. Like, I dig the conversation they had together here in this chapter, but that's kind of about all that that there is to say. I liked what they had to say to each other, but not why they were saying the things they were to each other. Like, I don't like. Oh yeah, that's just more of me not being into Hime no no and the story in general. So whatever. What can you do? Yeah, I mean, for what it was an alright chapter. Didn't dislike it by any means. Also, in Exorcist Kiyoshi Chapter 60, Let's Stay at Hitsugi's House. Aw, this was such a cute chapter. I love seeing these two's friendship develop. It's been a bumpy road, but we're at a really nice spot with it now, and I just think it's so sweet. And I obviously love any time we just get to see Kiyoshi being a stand-up nice guy. And that's largely what this chapter's about. You just seeing that nice side of Kiyoshi, warming up to all of Itsuki's family and himself, obviously, talking about their families, Kiyoshi also lost his family to demons. There's a super cute moment that I think is the number one thing I want to highlight. It's when Hitsugi's dad is, talking to Kiyoshi. He's like, wow, your healing properties are crazy. Like, you've recovered so fast. And Kiyoshi just says, oh, it's all because of you. That's so cute. I love him just like talking others up and making them feel good about themselves. It's so sweet. Great chapter. Me and Roboco Chapter 249, The Drive and the Two. Great chapter. If my voice sounds even worse than it did before, that's because I was laughing throughout this chapter and it made me cough more. And now I feel like shit. So that's awesome. This was really funny though. I loved this. I loved all the references and just like basic concept of just seeing these absurd things as you're driving, but the other person doesn't see them. The funniest one to me was the second year proposing to the prison realm from JJK. Like, what the fuck was that? I love this. It nearly killed me. This chapter it almost killed me. Roboco almost took my life, guys. Never forget. Uh, good chapter. I really liked it a lot. I'm not gonna talk about it for too long here because I actually might keel over and die on video. Chapter of the Flame, Chapter 18, Countermeasure. The series is hanging on by a thread, you know. It's still here. It's probably going to stick around for longer than we thought it would, which is cool. I like that the series would be giving more of a chance. If you missed the last segment, Roboco actually almost shut down my lungs, so I'm going to rapid fire through these remaining series. Very sorry about that. Sorry this episode is so botched, but Chapter of the Flame, really cool. I love this design you're seeing on screen. It's so sick. I love that thing, and I also love like the motive. I wouldn't say motive, but I love a gimmick of like it's I can't remember where else this has been used before, but I've definitely seen it in manga of like the innate curiosity of wanting to see what somebody's face looks like when like something shitty happens or something awful or crazy. I just think that's a really unique and interesting motive. I can't say unique because I guess I've seen this many times before, but it always gets me. It's really fun. Yeah, good chapter. Honestly, the series is kind of picking up. I hope it stays on an upward trend because there's so much potential here, man. We all see it. We all know it. Just we all gotta stick it out, just like Shueisha's letting it stick itself out. Let's just stick around for the ride and hope the series keeps learning from its mistakes and doing better because, come on, we're all rooting for it, I think.
That's a baseball!
Harukaze Mound, Chapter 13, Nagiharu, the Outfielder. Not anywhere near as good as last chapter, but I still like it. We have another practice game, which we knew we were getting, but to see it actually happen is like, it just dawned on me like, damn, we're doing another practice game? I feel like we should just be doing a real game already, but fair. I feel like this won't last too long. It already feels faster paced than the last one, and that was already relatively fast paced for a game. So I don't think we'll spend too much time on this, and we'll be fast approaching the time of the first real game, which is when I know I will start to care about this series more. And that's not to say I don't care about it now. I actually do think it's pretty solid. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. This chapter, it just didn't quite hit the way I wanted it to. And I just don't think it really can hit the way I want it to yet because it's still practice games, and I don't think the team is able to showcase itself in the ways that I'm looking for until we get to a real game. But regardless, it was cute. It was fine. You know, no problems really. Just not what I wanted.
What are you doing, step bro?
New Exorcist Chapter 114, Feathered Ties. Hey guys, just saying. New Exorcist getting pretty low on the TOC lately. I'm just kidding. This happens all the time. It means nothing for this series. This thing is the most inconsistently placed thing I've ever seen in this magazine. But this chapter was awful. Sorry. I cannot believe we end this arc, we end this fight. I'm like, all right, here we go. New stuff, finally. And it's just another woman who is in love with Gakuro. When does this... Let me ask you. The fans of this series, I know you're out there, I know you watch these videos, I get comments from you relatively often. The genuine fans, when does this series cross into the realm of self-parody? Are we already there? I certainly feel like we are. I feel like we crossed that bridge long ago. But to the fans, I have to imagine, you don't view it that way. Unless you view this as more of a comedic series, which I don't think that's what people like this series for. So I'm throwing out the question to the New Age Exorcist community. When and like what will it take for this series to cross into the realm of being a self-parody? Because I am wholeheartedly viewing it as such now. It's just getting hilarious. How many girls are in love with Gakuro at this point? It's going to be in the hundreds by the end of it. This series might as well be called The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, Really Love You. I don't know. I'm at wit's end with this one, guys. Ping-Pong Peril Chapter 10, Conclusion. Alright, I've criticized this match before, but it ended pretty well. I like playing on this broken table. It's really not a table at all anymore. This is cool. Still leaving a little to be desired, to be honest, but I like what the solutions they came up with here. A highlight for me was the big kick. That was very satisfying. I hated this opponent so much, so it was nice to see him eat shit. Now, the end of the chapter is interesting because it's reading to me is a little axey, like kind of axed vibes, but it's way too early. I think that I don't think they would have been notified that they're being axed at chapter 10. That's pretty unheard of, in my opinion. Because it just, I don't know, it feels like literally saying that Tyra's story is about to begin moving in an unexpected direction is, it doesn't feel natural to me, but, we're so early in this series, hopefully, that we still don't really know what this whole deal is, like what this whole series is about. So, let's wait and see. Curious what happens next. This was definitely a weak match, but maybe we're going to gain opportunities here now to get more inventive and unique stuff. So, yeah. Cool. Not a bad chapter at all. I like it.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kaedegami Chapter 12, perfectly beautiful. Concerningly low placement this week, but it's okay. Placement's not everything. Wouldn't count this one out yet. I think it'll be okay. But this chapter was okay. This wasn't exactly what I wanted from the setup for this arc, but it's not bad at all. Very fast-paced, very kind of by the numbers, kind of not also. It's kind of, that could be said about this series in general, to be honest. And unfortunately kind of just left me with not a whole lot to say about it. It's, it was serviceable. I think the character interactions were really solid as per usual. That's not really anything new. Yeah, just kind of okay. There is some intrigue though there at the end, so I'm curious to see where it goes next chapter. But this, as a standalone chapter, was fine. Not much to say about it, really.
Bruh.
Ekiden Bros Chapter 11. The Ekiden Bros. Wow, guys, wow. Ugh. So, this begs the question. This new brother character, who, mind you, we were just introduced to last chapter, are these two brothers the reason that this series is called Ekiden Bros? If so, why is this brother introduced on chapter 10? What is this series? It is so weird. It's so weird. It doesn't know what it's doing at any stage. How did this get in the magazine? Like, I'm not gonna say this is like the new nice prison. Like, I'm not talking about this the same way I would talk about that, but this series is just so uniquely bad. I've never seen as aimless of a series as this. It's just like, it's doing things and it's expecting us to have reactions and to feel emotions towards it for no reason. It's a series that asks the impossible out of its audience, and it's comical to me. Like, what is this? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand what this series is doing. It's just baffling. I can't find more words to say about it other than that. This is just a truly baffling and mind-blowing series. I don't know. It's really just funny at this point. I won't have it for too much longer, though. There's no chance this is making it past chapter 19. This will be axed, no doubt. And you won't see me complaining about it, because I am ready for this to get out of here already. I just think this is trash. Seriously. And in a different way than Nice Prison. Alright, everybody, that's going to do it for Weekly Shonen Jump 2025, issue 42. Sorry this episode was so rough. My sickness is just taking over. I had to keep it short. I'm glad I got through it, though. Didn't miss a week. Can't let that happen, ever. No matter the circumstances. But thanks for putting up with it if you did. I know this will probably go down in history as like the worst episode of this show ever, but hey. Didn't miss a week. Alright, chapter of the week is going to go to Shinobi Undercover, chapter 49. Love this chapter. This is twice now that Shinobi Undercover has gotten my chapter of the week, and that's a surprise to me, but it deserves it. It's just been great. I I loved this chapter. I love the through line for the whole thing, and I really love how it feels like a complete story within a chapter. That's like my favorite thing in the world. All right, next week, Sakamoto Days is taking the cover, and One Piece will be off. That's pretty much all there is to report about next week, but should be a good issue. I was pretty happy with this issue. I think it was super solid. You know, I would say the first half was definitely better than the second half, but what can you do? That just happens sometimes when you have the TOC placed in the way they did this week. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week for issue number 43. And remember, channel memberships are now live. If you were bummed out that this episode is so short and my voice was awful to listen to, you can become a channel member and get another video right now where my voice doesn't sound like this and it's much better. Become a nice prisoner today, and you can watch the State of Shonen Jump Plus video almost a full week early, and either way you can watch it on next Thursday. Also, if you join at the Super Nice Prisoner tier, you get your name shouted out before the credits even roll, and all members get put in the credits. So far, got 2 Super Nice Prisoners, so thank you to DJ Tengen, Dylan, a good friend of mine. Thank you so much, my man, for doing that for me. And second of all is, here we go, Hexen. I was told to try to pronounce that name to the best of my ability, basically, because it was actually a keyboard mash, is what they told me that name is. So, thanks for making me say that. Funnily enough, you have a Hunter x Hunter reference in your name if that's actually a keyboard mash, because you have HXH in your name and then Nen immediately followed by it. So, interesting coincidence if that's the case. For a second, I genuinely did think it was like a Hunter x Hunter reference name, but I couldn't grasp it with my mortal mind. But yes, thank you to my Super Nice Prisoners. And if you joined at the Nice Prisoner tier, check out your name here in the credits in just a second. Thank you as always for watching. Check out my other stuff. Now that the Shonen Jump Plus video is done, I'll be having some smaller videos coming out in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, if you join at the community membership, you will get those videos a little early. Take it easy, guys, and I will see you in whatever you decide to watch.